Hey Billy, how are you today?
I'm good, Peter. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, thanks. I mean, of course, I know where I'm going to begin. It's almost a subject I'm sick of talking about, but with the pandemic and all that, I mean, obviously put a screeching halt to everybody's live shows and plans. How has it really affected you guys? One thing I have noticed is you put out a ton of videos for residents. Was
Mhm.
that part of the original plan, or was that part of we can't play live, so let's just keep pushing, let's produce videos and keep getting it out there? Is that sort of a plan B approach, or?
Yeah, well, there's always the idea of what can we create for content for
Mm,
fans and for everybody, and so I'm always trying to think of ways we can, and also get a little bit more attention focused on the album.
sure.
Um, yeah, to with a band like us that's even in normal times so spread out, it's really difficult to do official videos where we're all in the same place or what have you. So it's really tricky to make that happen. So that was another thing of where, well, rather than sort of just do a lyric video or something, I started creating some more visual videos to put up of some of the songs from Resonance. And so that's one of the things while we're all doing what we're doing, that I put out recently.
Yeah, I enjoy them, and they're well done. They're really well done videos. Is that you doing all of that?
Yeah, yeah. So I just got a new computer, and I've all the videos before. Well, not all, but we have our friend Frank Roderick, who's filmed some of the videos in the past, the more sort of produced ones. But when it's like putting together some stuff from shows with the mixed audio that I've done from the shows, from the board tapes, I just had like on an old Mac Mini, whatever the free program was, what is it, iMovie or something,
Yeah.
and the thing was just like it just took forever. It was so much work. So I got this new computer with Final Cut, which I haven't learned yet, but just I was so excited when I got it how fast, much faster I was able to do it. I was like, let me put together these. So that yeah, that was me. The last few things you've seen, the visual things like Precious Time and stuff. I put the yeah.
Yeah, totally. I've got Final Cut Pro, and it's a huge. Once you get it down, it seems a little weird at first, but once you get it down, and I haven't explored all the options in it, but you can just edit stuff. I mean, quick. It's really fairly intuitive once you know where to go. Yeah.
I get that impression. I get it. It's almost like a Visual Pro Tools type program. It appears, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
really is. I don't use Pro Tools. I actually, because I'm a lousy player, I'm actually fine with the full version of GarageBand with all the editing and stuff I can do in there. But I go back to the days of when I would sit at home and with I'd splurge a little 4-track cassette recorder, and you'd spend hours trying to get, I had like no click track or nothing to go to, and I'm trying to get the timing right, and and just having to record something 40 times to get 3 tracks of something. And yeah, I can remember the days, borrowed a girlfriend's keyboard trying to, and I'm like, that sounds like a C, and just try to do some kind of layering, but it's
we
awful.
we've all been there.
Yeah, but it's so much easier, so much easier. Now, has the good stream of videos you've been putting out, has that helped any with sales? Have you seen any kind of
Mm,
resurgence in numbers for that?
it's hard to say. Sometimes when people in this business, and I'm learning this too as it goes, sometimes getting eyes and ears on something doesn't automatically translate into to a sale. Because first of all, I mean, people get their music in so many different ways now,
Right.
Spotify or what have you. So, and how can you really track it? So one of the things that we're trying to learn about and do is send more people to our website where as sort of a hub for all things why not. And actually on there you can kind of not that you can really watch individual people, but you can see some tendencies or some people that maybe started to fill their cart with a CD and then decided not to or whatever, like that kind of stuff,
Oh,
which I don't really tend to that on a daily basis, but those things are there now. We have a brand new website, so that's really been exciting for that whole thing. But I would say that we always do surprisingly well with CD sales and merch sales,
it's good.
and and the support from fans is just just blows us away. I mean, they're really so supportive always of what we
Yeah,
do.
and I always like to tell people, because Spotify pays like 0.003 of a cent per stream. And if you don't want to splurge for the album, even if you just go to iTunes and buy the 99-cent track, it's
Yeah.
benefiting that artist so much more
Yeah.
than the streaming revenue.
Yeah,
But
true.
anything helps, but it's good to see that you guys have gotten a good fan base of people who really, supportive of you guys. And that goes a long way because the music's good. And I love to see that people are responding to it.
Thanks.
Now, has this time off led to any creative sessions for you? I mean, because it seems to be two things. Some people like in super creative mode because, okay, I've been stuck at home so much. And some people get kind of lethargic because it's just sort of almost depressing. Right? How's it affect you?
Well, I've had my ups and downs with that, like everyone else, especially in the beginning, just really navigating through the emotions and through the uncertainties. And, right off the bat, the first thing that happened was in March, we had shows on the East Coast that we were so excited about and had been working towards. And those were just nixed immediately. So there was scrambling for that. And then just, seeing where, life was going to take us all. And as a band of musicians, just, it's really been very challenging. We did start something called the Social Distance Club, YYNOT Social Distance Club, which it did a couple things. It enabled us to, for one, sort of refocus on a project that we felt like we could, under the circumstances, do our best with. And it also gave, I think, fans an opportunity to sort of engage with a different aspect of the band. And of course, it also helped us with financially a little bit, some of that loss that we took on from not being able to play live. It sort of helped keep us afloat a little bit to further, basically pay some bills.
Right.
Just a little bit here and there. And so that was really huge and very exciting. That was one thing that we definitely spent the first few months of the pandemic putting a lot of time and energy into.
Yeah. It's true. It's just, and everybody's just had to sort of come up with a new way to deal with all that. Now going into some of your songs, take a song like She Said I Love the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
A solo like that, do you tend to kind of construct that in advance and then do you add any kind of flourishes or do you work something out like that in advance before you record it?
It's different for different situations. That particular song, that particular solo rather, that was a case of where I threw something down on the initial demo with no intention of keeping it and didn't even really put which I usually don't put a lot of time into the sound quality because I already know I'm not going to keep any of it. But I need to get better at that because you never know, right?
Right.
But you're so busy with just like, okay, get a bass sound, put a vocal mic up, do all this stuff, So I just kind of threw one down, and I usually don't do that because I usually just write the solo section knowing it'll be the last thing I do at the end of the track because I'll get a better sense of what the song really, the feel of the song. So I want the solo to sort of be sort of the icing on the cake that plays to what the song's about feel-wise. That one happened to kind of do one. And then when it came, another reason why I don't always do it is you get demoitis where you've heard this solo you don't tend to keep and now it's stuck in your head and then you want to try and recreate it, which I did to no avail. But I thought, well, I could recut a new solo for that. And but am I going to just be chasing that one? So I actually just decided, let me just take it and just work on the sound as best as I can and just use that, which I did.
Funny.
That particular solo really was just kind of a one-off, that's why I liked it. It just really didn't have as much of a worked out melodic structure. It just was sort of off the cuff,
right?
And I feel like it kind of worked out pretty well as being an unusual type of
It wasn't usual, and it did come across as having a theme to it, though. It wasn't just random, But that's interesting. And I get what you mean about the demoitis. Like, even if you wanted to veer from the solo section you put down the demo, it's hard to go away completely because you've already sort of set the template for it. If you.
Yeah, you either, I don't know if I'd say you fall in love with it. You just get so used to it that it becomes hard to sort of extract yourself from what you've been hearing and be like come with fresh virgin ears,
Right, you've established your starting point already, so it's hard to.
Yeah, it's tricky business with recording and making demos because that has happened to me with some of the bass parts and stuff too on the demos, where I'll play. Well, some of the bass lines are very, they're worked out. I come up with them to be sort of part of the structure of the song, but sometimes I'll just throw in some runs and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, don't get used to that because I want Tim to do his thing, which
Right.
he does. But there's been a few occasions where he won't catch it, and I'll go, hey man, do you mind playing that one little thing I did on the demo? And I'm sure he's probably rolling his eyes, going, oh, geez. But I don't do that very often because if it's just sort of and if he comes up with something that beats it anyway, I want that. It's just sometimes right. I'm so used to hearing it because I listen to it every day, multiple times a day, and I'm used to hearing that little bass run, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I get that totally. Now, when you're writing, are there certain keys you tend to gravitate towards or avoid? And does it vary between keyboards and guitar?
Yeah, it's, one of the things about the key is if I'm writing for Rocky's voice. So I always want to keep that in mind, obviously, because, that's the most important thing. So, and I don't think there's ever been a case, though, where when I was kind of checking with her on a key that she just went, yeah, that's going to be rough for me. She pretty much always just goes, yeah, that's fine. And I'm just like, okay, nope, then here we go, But I'm always very cognizant of that. And the other thing would just be the type of style of music. And I'll even think of things like, I want to utilize, certain parts of the bass for Tim to get as much depth out of it because we're sort of a three-piece.
Right.
So I don't want a key that sort of makes him have to play, in an uncomfortable place sonically. So yeah, you think about that stuff, but not overly. Usually it's just instinctively what a key you're writing in tends to kind of like, I already kind of know it's probably us, Right.
That makes sense. Now, how do you tend to come up with song ideas? Are you one of those guys who needs to sit down and be like, I'm going to write something, or do you need to noodle around on the instrument, or are you the type of guy that's sitting in traffic and come up with a great idea?
It's all the above.
Okay.
There are times when I just have sat down to just like, I'm going to write this song, and it comes quick, but a lot of times with this particular band, I'll document musical ideas, and then I'll have ideas like song titles and things I want to write about lyrically. And then I'll sort of search back into some of those musical ideas and see, well, that kind of seems to speak to this theme. And then I'll go about basically going down that rabbit hole. The ideas thing in traffic, that kind of stuff, a lot of times that's when I'm already on the creative path of a song. And all of a sudden, ding, ding, a guitar riff idea pops up into my head on something I'm already working on, because I'm always liking to come up with melodies and hooks to add to sections of songs and things like that.
Gotcha. The random question: when you do have a set list again, do you still include Ethereum in your set list live from the first album?
We always, that one's. We've never not played that live.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a must-have. Plus, Tim would probably kill me if I didn't put that in the set.
Yeah, it's such a great song. But
thank you.
I haven't made it out to California to see you guys live, so
yeah,
we'll have to fix that one of these days. One thing I want to do is I reached out earlier in the week and asked some fans of yours to pose some questions.
Yeah,
I just picked out a couple of them, but one is from is from Barry, and I like this. He says, "Yours is the only new music I've bought in decades." It's high praise indeed. Now, are you working on an album number 3?
Oh, yes. Yeah, in fact, I'm in the process right now of, I actually have a few songs written, and I'm right now in the process on a few of them of developing the demos and getting the arrangements tightened up, and heading definitely in that direction. Yes.
Well, there you go, Barry, and everybody else.
Yeah.
It is in the works. Saul asked, "What's the most important thing you'd pass along to folks who are trying to learn to play the guitar?"
Play the guitar. Well, it's be patient, because the guitar is a very physical instrument, and sometimes when people have no idea, everybody looks like it's so, to someone who's never played, it looks so cool and so easy, and then as soon as they get their fingers on these wires, they just go, wow, this hurts, or whatever. So it's not like a keyboard where you push it down and it's this perfectly in tune, beautiful note, just with a drop of guitar is very physical, but that's also one of its charms, right? Because
Sure.
it's no two players sound like alike. So yeah, I just say just be patient, and try to figure out having fun with it, and not try to immediately want to hear what you hear in your head. It's not going to happen. You're not going to change to that chord as fast as your ears hear you going there, So right. is the key, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd also say a beginner, try to get somewhat decent on acoustic before you run into an electric. I mean, I'll even not touch my acoustic for months, and then I'll be like, oh, this is going to hurt when I try to start playing it again, because it's a different beast.
It is. Yeah.
Most importantly, Ryan asked, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Tim Starachis or one Tim Starachi-sized duck?
That reminds me of the one where someone says, which weighs more, a pound of gold or a pound of feathers?
Right, exactly.
I would, I'd never fight Tim because I love him.
I think a Tim Starachi-sized duck might be kind of scary.
It'd be funny.
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows the website, YYBand.com.
YYNOT Band.
YYNOT Band, right. The social media sites, all that, where they can buy the album. I mean, if you can go over all that for us and make sure everybody knows where to find the stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying earlier, the website is sort of the hub. So even anything you want to click on from there, like the Instagram, the Twitter, all that is located there on the main website, YY.com. Of course, we have Facebook and we have all that stuff. But yeah, that's probably the best place to kind of, if you want to find out anything about the band, even the photos, merch, band history, any of that stuff. It's all located on that website. Gotcha.
We'll be looking forward to the live stream of your fight with Tim Starachi as a duck. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. And I'm also looking forward to all this clearing up and getting you back on stage at some point. I'd like to see you guys put out a live video of a full show.
Well, the video stuff, it's tough because there's only so much footage we have from shows. I mean, we haven't played a million shows,
right?
And the ones where I was able to get the board tapes, so to speak, right, and mix those, and some of those are few and far between. So it's not like we have footage and audio of an entire show. So, and the other thing too is, putting that together and putting it out, say, on like a Blu-ray. It's another one of those deals where maybe not everybody does Blu-rays, and how expensive is that to produce?
Right.
So that, but who knows? Someday, when we have the resources and there's enough on file to maybe do something like that, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and if you do it, that will be the night your amp blows.
Hey, well, luckily I use more than one amp, so.
There you go.